Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel and my latest video. My channel looks at all things money and finance, so if you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and hit it now and you'll be notified when new content comes out. Today we're talking about a hot topic. We're talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are really at the forefront of the news at the moment for a lot of reasons, but I'm going to just talk a little bit about them. I'm not going to dig into what they are and how they operate. There are plenty of other videos that will tell you that. But as an IFA today, I'm going to talk to you just about the risks involved in Bitcoin. I'm not saying don't invest in it, but I'm just going to be telling you what you should know before you start investing your money in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Now, it's important to know that as a financial advisor, I am not allowed to advise clients to invest in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, and therefore, as it's not regulated, I, as a regulated financial advisor, cannot advise to invest in it or to not invest in it. I mean, sure, go out and do your own thing, whatever you want to do, but I am not allowed to tell my clients whether or not to invest in Bitcoin, and I certainly cannot advise them to invest in it. There are many different reasons behind this, and I will get stuck into those a little bit later on. First of all, the value of Bitcoin today, the day I am filming, which is the 21st of February, the value of Bitcoin today is £40,491. It's 56,939 US dollars, and it's 46,986 euros. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that Bitcoin's had a bit of a bumpy ride over January, February of this year, the end of last year, however you want to look at it. But it certainly has yielded some great results for some investors, especially those people who invested right back at the beginning. But if you're looking to invest now, should you? I mean, the value of it has gone up a lot, and so buying just one Bitcoin is going to cost you more than £40,000. So partial Bitcoins is probably going to be the way you're going to go. But I'm going to give you some information about Bitcoin. This applies not only to Bitcoin, but to other cryptocurrencies. They all get kind of wrapped up into one because they all have the same inherent risks behind them. So I'm just going to give you some information about those, and then you can go away and make your own decision. Now, the first thing you should know about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general is that they are very high risk. They are not covered in the UK by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Now, you might not have heard of that compensation scheme before. That is a compensation scheme that has been set up by the Financial Conduct Authority, and it means that if your bank fails, such as in 2008 when Lehman Brothers went under and all those sorts of things happened, then your money is covered. There are different levels of cover depending on what account you have, what investment you have, etc. But generally the rule is that there is about £85,000 per bank that you can have covered. And that is covered automatically by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme if you use an authorised bank or an authorised investment. Because cryptocurrency is not authorised, it is not covered by that compensation scheme. So if it fails and if you lose all your money, there is nothing you can do. There is no one you can claim against. It's just your loss and you have to take that on the chin. So that is why it's important, if you are going to invest in cryptocurrencies, that you only invest money that you are happy to lose. And this is something the Financial Conduct Authority came out with in January. They warned investors that, and I quote, "If you invest in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, you should be prepared to lose all your money." So just bear that in mind when you're looking at investing. Now, as I said, I'm going to now go through the risks that are involved with cryptocurrency investing. Please don't take this as a negative thing, or I'm not trying to put you off investing if that's the way you want to go. I'm just trying to educate you and to help you make the right decision about perhaps if to invest and how much to invest. So let's kick off. Risk number one is consumer protection. As I announced previously, many cryptocurrencies around the world are unregulated, and so the Financial Services Compensation Scheme is the key compensation scheme in the UK. You do not have that level of cover if you invest in cryptocurrencies. So there is no one you can go back to, no one you can try and claim against if you lose all your money with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. The second risk to be aware of is volatility. Now, investments themselves are volatile in nature. You put your money into different stocks and shares, they can go up, they can go down, and that is generally the investment journey you will go on. Whether you're a low risk investor, a high risk investor, there'll be ups and downs along the way, but your hope is that at the end of the day, you'll have made some money back. This also applies to cryptocurrencies. It does have an up and a down journey, as I'm sure you've seen in the news recently, but generally it is expected to be more volatile than most other investments, especially regulated investments, and that is hence why it is unregulated, because it is an unknown entity and regulators are just not sure how the volatility will go, whether it will go up or down in any particular way, and so they're not willing to put their backs behind it because it's just such a volatile entity. So if you put your money in, you can expect to make some money back, you can expect to lose some money, you'll go one way or the other. I can't tell you how much you'll make or how much you'll lose, but that's a journey you have to be prepared to go on. Risk number 3, complexity. As I said at the beginning, I'm not going to go into what Bitcoin is and how it operates. There are other videos you can watch and other websites you can go to find that out. But it is a complex investment. It's a new type of investment that's only been around for the past 10 years or so. And as such, there's just not much consumer-friendly information out there. Not in layman's terms anyway. So it can be quite a complex area to understand. And generally in investment terms, if you don't understand where your money is going, I would just be a bit cautious about putting it there. Because if you don't understand what it is and how the investment could go, I would just be a little bit more wary about putting your money somewhere if you don't understand the nature of that particular investment. That doesn't just apply to cryptocurrencies, that applies to all sorts of investments. Just make sure you are understanding exactly where your money is going. Risk number 4 is there is no liquidity guarantee with cryptocurrency. Well, what does that mean? Well, liquidity is really important. That is how easily you can get hold of your money if you want to take it back out of an investment. If it's tied up in things like property, then you have low liquidity, because if you want your money back out of a property, you have to sell that property. That can take a long time. So, that's an illiquid asset. Whereas if a cash account in a bank, that is a liquid asset because you can get your money out whenever you want to, and there is no limitations on how you can get that money out, and you can get it really quickly. With cryptocurrencies, there is no guarantee that when you want to take your money back out, you will be able to take it out. This depends on the supply and demand of that particular cryptocurrency, and certainly Bitcoin is meant to have a limited supply. So there is no guarantee you will be able to get your money back out exactly when you want to. Risk number 5, fees and charges. Now, fees and charges apply to all sorts of pensions and investments anyway, but they have to be really clear and they have to be disclosed to you in black and white in clear writing in every statement that you get. So you should be looking through those statements and making sure you know exactly what you're paying in fees and charges. But because cryptocurrency is unregulated, there is no regulation about the cost and charges structure and about how much you might pay to invest in cryptocurrency. So if you are going to go and invest in cryptocurrencies, make sure you look closely at the fees and charges that the investment provider will charge you, and you have to be happy and take those on the chin. It can also be worth shopping around and seeing if you can go and get a cheaper option, a cheaper investment platform, because that will have an impact on the returns that you get. Risk number 6, misleading marketing. Now, if you've been watching the news over the past few months, certainly at the start of 2021, you will see that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has just flared up. Elon Musk has had a big thing to do with that. And so that has pushed the value of Bitcoin up drastically. And it also means people come out of the woodwork making claims about Bitcoin that aren't necessarily true. I made my millions with Bitcoin. I lost all my money with Bitcoin. I mean, whatever way you want to look at it. Certainly there are probably more misleading claims about making ridiculous returns than there are about losses. But just be aware that people will try and get you to invest in cryptocurrencies by feeding you misleading information about the types of returns you can get. And there is absolutely no guarantee that you will get any sort of return. So whatever news articles you read or whatever feedback you read about people making their millions with cryptocurrencies, just take that with a pinch of salt, because a lot of the time it's marketing to try and get you to invest. So it doesn't mean it is true. Risk number 7, investment loss. Now, as with previous risks, this does not just apply to cryptocurrency. It applies to all sorts of investments. There is the chance that you could lose your money. You can certainly make money, but you've got to be open to having that volatile journey along the way. Now, as I've said before, the volatility of cryptocurrencies is very high, but I'll give you some figures now just to show you how volatile it can be. Look back on 2020. In 2020, Bitcoin had a low of $3,800. and it entered on a high of $30,000 US. I mean, isn't that just a mad range that it grew in 2020? But on the negative side, it's also been known to drop from almost $20,000 down to less than $3,500 in a short space of time. that is an 80% loss. So if you go in at the wrong time and you try and sell at the wrong time, you could lose almost 80% of your money. So you've got to be aware that losses can happen with cryptocurrencies, as they can with many other types of investments. But you have to be aware that they are very, very volatile and that you might not get your money back if you invest and sell at the wrong time. Last but not least, the last risk is lack of diversification. Now again, this does apply to other investment types, but if all your money is invested in Bitcoin or it's invested in cryptocurrencies, you are not spreading out your assets in different places. Therefore, if all your money is in Bitcoin and that drops 80%, your whole portfolio will go down 80%. But it's not just Bitcoin. If you are just invested in cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency in general takes a bit of a hit and all of it drops, then your whole portfolio will take a drop too. That is why diversification is so important. By all means, have some investments with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, but make sure you've got other investments elsewhere that are perhaps lower risk so that you're evening out your risk score across your whole portfolio, and therefore you don't have all your exposure in one company or one asset class. This is really important, not just for cryptocurrency, but for all types of investments. Now, to end, I'm going to be investing in Bitcoin myself. I'm going to be putting in £500 of my own hard-earned money in Bitcoin in February, and I will be tracking my progress, whether that's upwards or downwards, on my Instagram channel. So go and have a look at that. You'll be able to get monthly, weekly updates from me. I'll be letting you know exactly how my Bitcoin investment is doing. As I said at the beginning, I'm not giving advice or recommendation relating to Bitcoin. I simply want to show you what an investment can do and how it can look. Obviously, personally, I think that going in at this particular time, it's a high time for Bitcoin, so I'm not going to be getting as much for my money, but a lot of people are buying it at the moment. So I just want to be able to give you some realistic figures so that you know if you were to buy it now, how much you could make or how much you could lose. Again, this is not advice or a recommendation. I have to be really open about that and really strict about it because I am a financial advisor and I do advise clients to do particular things. But there is no advice in this video and there is no recommendation. Please be wary of the comments because this is a cryptocurrency video. I'm sure there will be people hopping on and trying to get you to invest with them. Please ignore them. They are certainly not affiliated with me and I in no way will be asking you or encouraging you to invest in cryptocurrency. So just be wary of those comments if they do appear. So I hope that's been helpful for you all, and I hope that's given you just a bit more of an idea of the inherent risks that are behind cryptocurrencies in general. I'm sure there are plenty of other places you can go and look for advice, or if you want some further information about it, then please do your research properly before you put your money in a place that is inherently risky like cryptocurrency. But if you've got any questions, do let me know. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you next time.